Okay. Well, good evening, you guys. Welcome to Thursday Night Shift. It is halfway through the month of July. Here we go again. Another half of a month gone. I feel like half the time we can't believe it because I'm thinking, wow. Okay, so I'm just going to, we popped out before we started the recordings and went live on Facebook, all the things, some questions that you guys wanted answered. So which do we want to just go with?
Any of those are good questions. Those are all good questions. I could rapid answer those fast.
Yeah, I mean, let's just do that real quick. There's 4, it looks like right there. We'll do Lindsay, Kimmy's, Samantha's, and Amy's, and we can probably rapid fire those really quick with the 4 of us today. So go ahead. Yeah. Jules, kick us off.
Prepping for.
Oh, I muted you on accident. I meant to mute myself. I'm so sorry.
She just basically told me to shut up. No, just kidding. I wasn't kidding. I usually clean out my entire office, get rid of like all the old stuff, the stuff that I bought from Amazon and didn't freaking use, or I can reposition it. Like just, I have stuff, I have boxes and tons of happy mail ready to go out for my very best customers. So it's kind of like clean everything out. I've thought about moving things around. I just feel like twice a year during semi-annual sale time, it's a great time to kind of purge everything, reorganize, get new inspiration for that. Kimmy says, what day of the month? Oh, another thing that I'm doing is this time it's taking me longer to send out happy mail, VIP mail, because I'm trying, knowing there's a new catalog coming up, to put a little post-it note in and write a little personal note to every single customer that's getting mail, something with their name on it, because otherwise it just seems like an ad and some samples, right? So I want to make them feel special. I want to strike up that conversation, just something quick like, hey, Kimmy, it's semi-annual sale. Didn't want you to forget. Love, Jill. Just so that I'm using their name and they feel a little bit more special. When do I send out my newsletter? When I remember. I mean, literally, usually it's the second week of July. And here's what literally I do. I take Heather's newsletter and I use, what's the newsletter service I use? I can't remember. And I just copy the image into the newsletter, and then I add some more plug and play drops, and then I download the contact list, and then I put it in there and I send it out. So it's usually the second week. Is my sponsor still with Scentsy? No. And was there one more? Oh, what's one thing you do for your business every single day? I follow up on online orders, and usually I try to have a conversation with at least 5 to 10 people via text every single day. Callie?
Okay, Callie can go next. Okay, so what do I do for transition? It's kind of the same. I go through my office, I go through all the things. If I have samples that are discontinuing, I've got to get those samples out. So kind of refreshing that. Today, I just organized some of my inventory and pulled out some fragrances that I knew were sticking around, and we had some samples made for that. And to also prep with that, if I can, I'll prep as many samples as I possibly can for the entire thing, for the entire season, right? So I've got the 10 new releases sitting right here on my desk, and the goal is to get those prepped and out. What day do I send my newsletter for the month coming? I personally, if possible, so for July, I would love to get it out like the last week of June, right? Same thing, July, I want to get it out the last week of July for August. And so I can kind of but where Heather's even laughing, sometimes that doesn't happen. And if it doesn't happen, then you get it out when you can get it out, right? And that's okay. Is our sponsor still with Scentsy? Yes, she is. And she's a superstar director. And what is one thing that I do for my business every day? I do a lot of things for my business every day. I work my business. I'm not going to say the same. I'm not going to pull Heather's answer and say I work at the same every day, because I do try on the weekends to take some time off, but I literally do something every single day. If it's, I mean, I feel like our businesses are so intertwined in everyday life that there's nothing to not do. But I would definitely say same thing, like follow up is key. If you have orders, following up on those orders, saying thank you, hey, your item shipped, writing a thank you note, whatever that is. Customers should always be first and foremost, and then following up with anybody that is possibly on your join list. Heather, since you're unmuted, and then.
Okay, let me scroll up because I don't remember the questions. I mean, I'm listening to all y'all going, yes. Okay, how do I prep for the transition month? Oh, geez, that's a loaded question. I buy more Tito's vodka because I need to be ready for it. Because it's a lot, right? Trying to manage your current business and get ready for the next. But one of the number one things I do is I pull out all my showcase brochures, product list, catalogs, and I put them staring me in the face, usually on my kitchen counter, because it is a race against time to get those in people's hands before they expire and turn into shredded paper like Jamie does and makes it shred for her little customer boxes. So I don't want my money going down the drain. I'd rather get them in people's hands and get it out there as fast as I can. Number two, what day of the month would I send it out? I try to get it in their mailbox right around the 1st. However, yeah, sometimes that just doesn't happen. And I still haven't sent my crap out yet, but the samples are made. I got to get them done and they will happen. I always send them out. Even if there's 2 days left in the month, it doesn't matter. It's going out. One thing I do in my business every single day, I try to do buy, host, join, something in all 3 categories every single day. So you ask yourself, what are you doing for buying to get sales? What are you trying to do to get a host? And what are you doing to try to get somebody to join? If you can hit those 3 target areas daily and be intentional, you will have growth in your business. Is my sponsor still with Scentsy? Absolutely not. I didn't even know her. She was a college girl in her 20s. I kept rolling up, and no, she gone. I didn't have an upline or anything when I being in my Scentsy career. JP.
Hello. Thursday night. I'm so happy to be here. I feel like it's been ages. Yeah, what were the questions again? I sat here and listened and okay. How do I prep for transition? So one of the things is exactly what Heather said is I get all of my marketing material and I get it out because I hate having that left over when it's just sitting here waiting to be used. So I try to get that out ASAP. And I usually what inventory I have, I like pull what's being discontinued and kind of seeing what maybe I kept from last season, if I have any, returning scents. Same goes, and I saw this question, so it's an additional one, and it's only because it caught my eye. I actually did bag up all my fall winter samples last year because I had too many left over. And so I bagged them up thinking maybe they'll come back. So I will go through those to see if I have any samples already ready to go. So, and so I will just do that. What day of the month do you send out your newsletter? That's so cute. I would feel like a fraud if I came out here and was like, oh, I'm so punctual and I do it. Not in this season. No, ma'am. It goes out when I get it done. And I would like to even say that I have a set number, and I don't have a set number anymore. Sometimes it's just what I'm able to get to. Because it's been summer, I have been traveling, so I'm really behind on all of that. So I am trying to do like Jill and be a little more intentional with this month's mailer. We'll have a little extra touches because it's been a while and I need to send some really good thank you mail. Is my sponsor still with Scentsy? Yes, she actually is. She's a superstar director as well. And so that's it. I think that was all the questions, right? Oh, 3 things, or the things that I do every day. Also, again, I would feel like a fraud if I act like I had this wonderful, beautiful checklist. Sometimes all it is for me is posting in my team page and just sharing like, especially this month with it being transitions, sharing the specials happening this month. But I do try to be very intentional with looking at my numbers, looking at my team. It's not always perfect. This season is really busy and hectic. And I think for the next 6 weeks, it's going to be that way for me. But I am trying to get it in where I can. So yeah, there you go. I guess we can start now.
Yeah, no, I think those are really great questions. What I liked about them is I think that a lot of times consultants, whether you're new or seasoned, like you look at us and you think, okay, well, they've got it together. They've been doing this long enough. They've got to, right? The system's got to work, the this, the that. And the bottom line is that's not it at all. Everybody is so different and seasons are different and times are always different. Like you have what you want to do. You kind of have your idea. And then you do your best to make it happen, right? And if it doesn't, that's okay. You bless and release, you continue on and you do what you can. And so, yeah, I loved like people laughing, even Jamie to put in the chat here on Zoom, true and authentic answers. Some reasons I'm definitely just some seasons I'm definitely just winging it. And that's okay. It's okay to be that way. And then when you have your seasons that you're on, you feel great, you rock it, and it's fabulous. So, a couple things real quick. If you haven't, I should have said this before, invite your teams. We are here tonight. If they are interested in learning some fundraising, we're gonna dive into some fundraising. Heather updated some stuff. But also real quick, because I'm thinking about it, if you or your team members are confused, I don't know if they've put out a clarification. The Moana and Wally is launching on Tuesday, not on Monday, even though they put Monday the 19th. So if you guys have questions about that, I think what it was is like basically, because I would do something like this if I was sending something to my team, is I probably copied the email over, updated the details, and didn't think to change it from Monday to Tuesday. And our understanding is the reason that they're doing that is because we have a lot of our Scentsy family on the Alaskan cruise, and they won't be back. So doing that on Tuesday will allow you to will allow them to take advantage of that as well, and not be in the middle of the ocean somewhere and not able to do those launches with us. And then just because Joshua brought it up, and hey, why not? H-Town Showdown registration, if you are in the Houston, Texas area, and that is something you are interested in, or like Kimmy, she's flying all the way from West Virginia, so you don't have to be local, right? You can come join us August 6th in Pearland, Texas. We are doing a consultant-led event. We've got, I think we're up to 170 at the moment almost. So it's going to be a really great big event. It's exciting, but it's closing again. It's closing on tomorrow night at midnight. So it'll be our last day to register, and we're excited. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and open it up. Miss Heather, why don't you go ahead and take us away?
All right, so it is the season. I know a lot of you have done fundraisers in the past, and we're going to kind of talk about that tonight because this is the month that you want to really get prepared, especially with the 10% off sale on your catalogs. Take advantage of that price point, especially when you're buying them in larger quantities. A lot of these schools, when they come back in August, they're ready to launch a fundraiser right from the beginning. But before you get a fundraiser, it's very important for you to find one. Who can you do a fundraiser for? So let's break that down. It can be an individual that's maybe trying to raise money for a specific item or a trip, whatever it may be. If you pay attention to people that are just trying to raise funds, it could be organizations, PTA, PTO, soccer, sports, cheerleading, dance, church groups, you name it. If they're fundraising, a Scentsy fundraiser could fit the mold for them. So you're going to want to be very organized, and you're going to want to be very prepared. And hopefully we're going to kind of go over the couple of options that you can offer people tonight in depth, just so you'll feel a little bit more comfortable with offering it to different people. And basically it boils down to, when people are doing a fundraiser, they care about two things. Do I have to do any work? And how much am I going to make? Those are the two things that you really need to worry about, where you should be doing all the work, where it's nothing on their part, and how much profit can they make. And so when you're doing a fundraiser, it is completely up to you on the percentage of your commission that you're deciding to give. So if you're an essential consultant, the maximum maximum commission you can give is 20%, right? Because you haven't yet promoted to certified to get that 5% pay raise, which is 25%. It's up to you and your heart what you desire to give, right? Keep in mind, there are business expenses, right? So if maybe you don't want to upfront all of those costs, then keep 5% for yourself to cover those expenses on the business supplies, okay? It's totally up to you. Another thing I'm going to tell you is, a lot of times I always sell over $2,000 every single month, but I'm not going to automatically just generously gift my extra 5% commission to an organization. You've got to do the work. So I always tell them, if your organization sells over $2,000, I'm going to give you an additional 5% profit. And how can I be offering that for those of you that are new? Anytime that you sell over 2,000 PRV in one calendar month, you have that extra 5% bonus that you are rewarded on your volume. Okay, so that's how I can offer that in that situation. And it's going to be different. It's going to be your choice depending on what type of fundraiser you want to be offering. You can do a full catalog. Let me see if I can share my screen to this so I can show you. I made a quick little visual because I'm a visual person. I like to see things as I am looking at it. Share screen. Sorry, I've got so much up. Okay, we good on that? Is that somewhat visual? I mean, I don't know if you can even see all that. I'm gonna have to scroll. But so here's your fundraising options for fall, winter 2022. Fundraisers are a great way to expand your customer base, give back to your community. gain host and future team members, and it helps you achieve annual sales award way faster typically. And it could help you earn additional incentive points if there is a current incentive period happening, right? So you can also kind of plan your fundraisers around incentive trips. I know many incentives that I've earned, mass points have been used because of fundraisers, right? With these schools. So you basically, I have 3 different types of fundraisers that I'm offering this fall. You've got your full catalog or showcase brochure. Basically with this one, you're selling straight products, anything in either one of those catalog or showcase brochure, you can just sell as is. The only difference is in the catalog, you do have the bundle and save options, whereas in the showcase brochure, you do not have those in that paperwork. So if you want to offer that, you're going to have to print those out and either staple them to the front. Typically, people don't put those in there because in fundraising situations, you don't really want to offer a discount because the more they spend, the greater the organization is receiving. So that's why you don't see the bundle and save options in the showcase brochure, because typically that is what people use for the fundraiser specifically. So the profit to the organization here, it is your commission. It is the percentage that you personally decide. But it is a competitive market. Think about all the different companies that do offer fundraisers. So you want to make sure that you're offering an amount to where it is competitive with other people, that it's going to make it worth their while. Because again, all they care about is, do I have to do anything? And how much am I making? And like I mentioned before, if they sell over 2,000, you can offer them an additional 5%. I don't typically do the full catalog or showcase brochures ever, fundraiser style. Usually mine is Scent Circle because the profit is way higher. And so you really want to make it worth their time and their effort. So what I do under Scent Circle fundraiser is I sell 6 Scent Circles for $20. Yes, that's over the catalog price. Their profit is 2 parts. The first profit is if I'm selling it for $20, clearly the customer is overpaying. Well, that overpayment is part number 1. Part number 2 is the percentage from my commission, okay? So it is gonna change a little bit different due to our awesome new shipping flat rate fee. I'm so excited about that because that actually is gonna save my organizations a lot of money, because typically they would have paid 5% on every single order. And my fundraisers are typically over $350. So this is free shipping for them or a $10 flat fee. Regardless, they're going to be saving money. I probably am just going to cover that $10 shipping because we are giving back to this organization. It is a tax write-off for my business, which really helps. And if it's a $10 flat fee, I'm just going to probably pay that, don't even give it to the organization, and write it off. So let's run down on how this formula works. You as a consultant are going to buy 6-pack of Scent Circles. We all know in the US region 1, that is 15 PRV, okay? With sales tax, I use Texas, our sales tax here just as an example. So I am paying $16.24 for a 6-pack of Scent Circles regardless, right? Well, they clearly gave me $20 minus the $16.24 that I have to pay Scentsy. They have overpaid $3.76. So that is part 1. That's going straight back to the organization. Then once the order is submitted, we have that 15 PRV. I'm going to choose to give 25% of my commission, which means that is $3.75. So you add these 2 amounts together, and that is $7.51 that organization is getting back for every 6-pack of Scent Circles that they are selling for $20. That's a really, really good return, right? So here's a new one that I figured. All my team, we were out to dinner one night at reunion after seeing this travel twist, and I'm writing it. I think it was on a piece of it may have even been the tablecloth, the paper tablecloth. I don't even know what I wrote this on, but we were so excited when this launched going, oh, the opportunities. And we were like, we could do this as a fundraiser similar to the Scent Circle one. So I kind of broke it down for you tonight so you can kind of just see the possibilities. And again, this can change, right? We all know they retail for $7 PRV. There is no bundle and save for the new travel twist. So what I'm going to do is sell them 3 for $25 even, right? So let's break that down. 3 travel twist is 21 PRV plus my Texas tax. Oh, brings it to $22.73 that I'm paying the company. Subtract that from the $25 that they paid. So the customer has overpaid $2.27. So that's going straight back to the organization. Then let's break down my commission on the PRV aspect. That is $5.25 commission. So that brings the profit pretty dang close to the Scent Circle one. I was kind of amazed at how similar it was. Whereas my Scent Circles, I don't typically offer every single Scent Circle. I actually pick out 20 fragrances and let them only pick from that, because it just becomes, the order form isn't easy or simplified. But with the travel twist, there's not many fragrances that comes in, you guys. So this potentially could be a really, really cool fundraiser. And the travel twist lasts, I believe, up to 30 days, whereas we all know our Scent Circles don't last as long. And sometimes I feel like the return on investment, I don't see a lot of return on investment on fundraisers typically. You can, I've even had recruits new team members from it. But I do believe when you've got a really good product that has the longevity a little bit longer than the 1 to 2 weeks, especially in our Texas heat, and they fall in love with the product or see the potential in this product, I think they come back for more and more frequently. So I'm excited to kind of introduce the travel twist just as a more quality product offered at nearly almost the same price point. So this just breaks it down if people are doing the fundraiser with sales tax. Let's talk, we'll come back to business supplies in a minute. Let's talk, what if they're tax exempt? The first question, if you're working with anybody in the schools, and if anybody wants to jump in, Jill, Callie, JP, please just unmute and jump in, because I will keep going and going until I
need a drink
speak anymore. Okay. All right, so let's talk about tax exempt. They have to be registered with their state in an official 501c3. I have worked with organizations where they thought they were tax exempt. You need to get that paperwork early before you are doing any type of fundraiser, and you need to send it to Scentsy, salestax@scentsy.com, because they will verify it and absolutely double check through the system that everything is ready to go and there's no problems. I had to work with an organization for 3 years before they finally got tax exempt in the proper way, because a lot of times these are volunteers for PTAs and organizations. They think they've done it the right way and it's not registered properly, and the wrong paperwork is usually filed. So if it is a tax exempt organization, let's do the breakdown. I'm not going to focus really much on full catalog and showcase because it's all the same. It's just they're not going to pay the sales tax. But it does affect your Scent Circle and travel twist because of the overpayment. It makes your profit margin a little bit greater. So let's look here. You got the 6-pack of Scent Circles. Again, we're paying $15 because before you submit this order to Scentsy, you're going to call them and say, this is ready to submit. If your organization is tax exempt, this is the biggest piece of information I'm going to tell you and save you, because I've had to redo hundreds and hundreds of orders and spent hours and hours fixing this, and it was my bad. If the organization is tax exempt, you create the customer cart in the tax exempt organization's name, and the entire order has to be placed in that one shopping cart. That is the most important piece of information I can tell you. Heather Gorsuch is still the host, but my shopping cart is the tax exempt organization, and every order is in that one cart. because you can call them ahead of time and have them remove the sales tax before you hit submit, or you can pay for it and they'll reimburse you. There's two ways. I typically just call and ask them to remove it beforehand, because sometimes it's a lot of money to put up front when you're doing really, really big fundraisers, and I don't want to put that money up front. So with this example here, you're paying $15, so they've overpaid $5, and 15 PRV times your commission is the $875. So the only way that you are going to be able to be tax exempt is the paperwork. If you are questioning, like Janie's posting here, that some churches maybe aren't 501c3, you need to contact the Scentsy sales tax office and get the paperwork from the church before you tell an organization that this order is going to be tax exempt, because you may be promising something that legally Scentsy cannot do and accept that paperwork. There is guidelines that corporate has to follow. So you want to make sure you cross all your T's and dot all your I's and check with Scentsy before you promise anything to an organization, so you personally aren't out that money for taxes if you're promising that. On the travel twist, it comes down to, if you're buying 3 of them, it's 21 PRV, which means if they've paid $25, they've overpaid $4, and you take that commission of your PRV. So that's a $9.25 profit for each one. So not bad. Let's quickly take one more example. A lot of my fundraisers plan a lot of my organizations plan their fundraisers during transition month. Why? That's an extra 10% in their pocket when they're planning it during transition month. So take a look at this really quickly. A 6-pack is now $13.50 plus the tax. They've overpaid $5.39 plus my commission. That's $8.77 profit. And you're looking at the same scenario, $9.27 for travel twist. Then here's where the gold happens. Most of my organizations are tax-free, and they're doing it during transition month, which is the big mamba jamba. You ready for this? You can't really say no to when you see this kind of profit. $10.25 profit for every $20 received. That's over 50% profit. What organizations do you know that offers 50% profit back to the organization? That is unreal. And here comes the same here for this one. Those travel twists, you're looking at $11.35 if it's transition month and they are tax exempt. It's a very pretty situation for that. Now, let's talk business supplies. When you're ordering catalogs, you can choose what type of paperwork you want to use to give to your customers during a fundraiser. If it's an individual or a smaller organization, a lot of times I will do the full catalog, or I will do the showcase brochure, because they don't want to just buy one specific product, right? And every Scent Circle fundraiser that I always offer a full catalog option on my website for the same organization. So the more options you can give them, the better, where you can just take advantage of all the different types of people that are buying all different types of products. So this brings your catalogs to about 43 cents a piece. So keep that in mind. Whatever type of marketing you're doing for your fundraisers, keep your cost in mind. Your showcase brochures are about 20 cents each. I personally use the Scentsy fundraising envelopes. I don't buy the manila ones at Office Depot. I think these look very professional. If it's tax exempt, I'll run a black Sharpie down the tax line so they know not to collect it. And I usually staple a paper, the instructions, on the other side of the envelope, so it's clear for how all the students need to process, if they need to contact me for anything. But these come out to 16 cents a piece. And it's very professional looking, I think. On the Scent Circle fundraiser, price is going to vary depending on what type of printer you have. What type of paper are you buying? Are you going and printing at Office Depot or a printing place? And mine are printed front and back in color. So keep that in mind depending on how large your fundraiser is. But I update and usually just print my own order forms at home when it is a Scent Circle fundraiser, typically. If it is a full catalog or showcase brochure, you could use the regular Scentsy order forms to collect. I love highlighting the top half of my order form of the information that I need to collect from people, because once you collect a customer's information once and input it into your system, it's always remembering. Now, I know a lot of people like to run copies of just an order form. Be very careful and read the back of your order forms. You are required by law to provide a certain number of copies of the receipt to a customer when they purchase. So that is a reason why you literally are giving them 3 copies of a receipt. So just make sure you're aware of that rule if you're going to start doing it a little bit different and using the regular receipts. Just make sure you are aware of that. For the longest time, I didn't even know that was a law. So on my order forms for the Scent Circle fundraiser, something I started doing a couple of years ago, and I think it's increased my sales. I think it has worked. I purchased the rub and smell stickers. So a lot of times it won't be every single fragrance, but on the back of my order form, actually, let me get one because I didn't print one here. I can grab one right here so you guys can see it. So here is an example. I print the little labels of the organization and cut them in half. I highlight stuff. I'll run tax included and put a black line. Here's my instruction sheet that I've stapled on how to do it. But on the back of my order forms, and it's not every single fragrance, but I cut my rub and smell stickers in half, and they're on the back because we all know it's the smelling that does the selling. Why am I giving these people a blank order form that has no scent attached? And I sure as heck ain't going to staple all of these felt samples to this. I want Scentsy to make little round rub and smell stickers that I can just put on top and just call it a day, but I haven't requested it yet. I feel like we just need to put it in our idea share thing. So they are cut up. They look a little homemade, jank looking. I mean, who cares, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be beautiful. They are still rubbing and smelling. The kids love it. And I added this to my order form this year. Rub and smell some fragrances on the back with my cute little nose. And then here I added this, scan here to request a sample pack, which takes them to my awesome jot form where I'm going to get them to host, buy, sign up, join my team, have a party. What do you want to do? You want some more samples? You're going to fill that out right here on my order form now, because I wasn't seeing my return on investment. So now I have a better shot, a chance to get some more return on my Scent Circle fundraisers. Okay.
So yeah, I can go ahead. I feel like you're a little parched there. So I'm going to go ahead and just say real quickly that I think right there what Heather just said is your key to fundraisers. If you're not aware, you're giving back your commissions, right? And so if you're not following up, then you just gave away your commissions. Fundraisers are the best because it gets your name in front of people that you normally wouldn't get your name in front of. So that's another great benefit, because if you may be thinking, okay, why am I giving back my commissions? Well, that's why. It's because it's basically an advertising type thing that you're looking at, and you're doing something great for your community and you're giving back. I'll be 100% honest. The types of fundraisers that I do like way smaller. Like I think I've done a couple large ones like Heather, but I'll do them so super duper simple where literally it's also, you can open up a party link and I'll say any orders that go through this, I'll donate back to whatever that cause is or whoever I'm running that for, right? So you can do them super simple and you can do them big like Heather and have a ton of great success. The other thing to think about that I think is so important, that if you don't remember this, but where'd my most recent catalog go? Because I'm all over the place. We'll use this one. When you go to your commission chart in your catalog, because we're talking about giving back your commissions, right? And how much you can afford to give. This is another piece that a lot of people miss when we think about it pays to promote. And that is once you get to, and I never pay attention to this much anymore because it's just part of my thing, but once you get to lead and above, you actually start earning a bonus for your personal wholesale volume. At lead, it's 2% on wholesale, 4% for star, 7% for superstar. So those go up to 9% for director and above. And that's an extra wholesale percentage that you have that you can spend towards those, towards your business supplies and things. So if you want to give back more and you are up at those higher levels in Scentsy, you can maybe take that into consideration as another way that you have your resources covered when it comes to your business supplies. Another thing that I saw the other day and things that happen a lot during this upcoming season is buddy drives. And basically just collecting buddies, and you can have your customers collect, just order a buddy and have it shipped to you, or pay you for a buddy and you can order it yourself and you can donate those back. I know a lot of people will take them to police departments, to fire departments, so that whenever they have accidents or they come across kids that are in distress, they can give those buddies as well. So that's another way that you can donate those. Ronald McDonald House, the hospitals in general, like there's lots of ways that you can donate back buddies. But what I saw the other day that I really loved was from Pam, and she had said she now, whenever a buddy launches, because she does a buddy drive every year, she simply just says, hey, I have this new buddy launching. Do you want to order one to donate with my buddy drive? So that's another great way, is when you're announcing those buddies that are coming out, to also say, hey, if you want to buy one now, it doesn't have to be during a specific time, and you can set that buddy aside to donate back when you're doing it. And so I really loved that. Is it just a simple little tie-in of ways to give back and fundraise.
And I always keep the free and half price. That's my payment, you guys. You want to know how I get so much inventory in my house? It's my really big fundraisers that I sell at my events for 100% profit, because I got it for free or half price. You can offer like top 3 sales, get something, or the class that sells the most, get a pizza party or whatever. You have the flexibility to do whatever you want, but I keep the free and half price for myself. That's my payment. Jamie, you wanted to add?
I was just going to say, if you are feeling overwhelmed, don't be. I've done this multiple times. And every time I still kind of have to do baby steps. And the reason I just wanted to put that disclaimer is because don't let it freak you out and be like, oh, that's more than I can do. When you're in the groove of it, when you're doing it, and don't get me wrong, I've called Heather, I've called other people, been like, okay, walk me through this step again. Because sometimes it doesn't matter how many times you've been through it, you still need a little. So Heather, I just wanted to thank you again for that breakdown. Everyone is talking about how helpful. That was really great.
Well, good. I don't know that it's finished, but I quickly made it before tonight's call. So thank goodness.
Well, it helps to visually see those things, because I too am like Callie. I haven't done a lot of massive ones. There's one that I used to do for a drill team that used to do really well. Over the years, it's gotten less. And so we've had to kind of communicate about those different points of how much to give back and stuff. And anyway, I just wanted to say that it doesn't matter how big or how small, it can be as successful as much work as you put into it, and don't let it intimidate you no matter what. If you want to start out smaller, go for it. I am like Heather, I prefer the Scent Circle. I think it is just easy, but I think we all had some major heart eyes when you saw that, when you shared the twist, because they're like, hey, this is really eye-opening and helpful. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in. I would not consider myself a fundraiser guru, but this was very insightful and helpful coming up for the fall winter season.
Well, good. And one of the things I really love about doing fundraisers is it does expand your network, and you at least get their contact information, because it is the parents selling a lot of times. And one of the things that you can offer that most fundraising people cannot offer is, I love to say, you know what? I know we're running this Scent Circle fundraiser for 3 weeks, but you know what? Let me put a link up for your organization year round. So when they're ready to restock or buy Christmas gifts, I'll give you 20% on any other fundraisers that come in year round. This fundraiser doesn't have to stop at the Scent Circles. I mean, yes, you're getting 25 or 30% now with this 3-week one, but I don't mind giving you 20% on all future orders, all the other rest of the year. And they're like, dang, well, I can't get that. Sure, I want that link. So you're offering something that other companies can't typically offer. And then just keep in mind, when you're collecting those people's information, go back in and add them as contacts. A lot of times on this particular form, though, I actually stopped collecting a bunch. It was just the phone number. And that's why I added this, because those people that are genuinely interested are going to fill this out, and I can follow up with these people instead of getting tons of people that are just buying fundraiser circles to support, right? So keep that in mind too. It's all about how much the kids are sharing it, and your organizer, like pumping those kids up. A lot of times I'll go in to explain it to the kids and get them excited, because the teacher doesn't know about the fundraiser and how we work it. So I love to go be able to present to the kids and to the parents so they can answer any questions and they know exactly how this is going to work. Samantha, I will upload this. I don't have it finished for the new season coming up. I just started creating it today. And then I will get it finished, and we have something. I don't give the organizer anything. That they're getting my money. So that's the gift to them. You absolutely could though. One of the things I think that Jen says is just spoil your organizers like crazy, because they're going to always come back to you and they'll remember you. So if that's needed, you have that flexibility with the free and half price to absolutely do so if it's needed, and to create that relationship. Give the best possible customer service you can. Go ahead, Jamie.
I was just going to chime in on that, because I think in the beginning I did do that. And I can tell you, I did not have personally any higher sales by offering that, because they're really just more cared about that money that you're giving back to them. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Don't stress yourself out about giving extra things.
Yep. And just really quick, how I package it. I have several videos. I think it's divided up in 3 different YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. It's very old, but it breaks it down on, I am so OCD when it comes to organizing. I try to think of every single step, because I don't want them doing anything. And that's a very important part of it. And the nice thing about it is you may not be the most organized person or have never done this before, but you can watch this process and absolutely execute it. And so one of the things I want you guys to think about is when you're packaging it up for the customers to give to the classroom, it comes in 2 different zones. You've got the student that has the order form with all the people that bought, and then you have the student that's in a classroom or a period. So you have to have it organized and bagged accordingly. So all of the student that sold, on each bag, I type my own labels out. It'll have the seller, the buyer, what they ordered. I just do my own abbreviations, so I know exactly what scents are in this customer's bag and the classroom. So each label, it goes on each bag. And then in a big bag has all the individual bags. So one order form order is tied, and I take my curling ribbon and I tie it shut. Why do I do that? So no hands can go in and nothing can fall out. I know when it's leaving my home, it's labeled with the student, the buyer, the contents sealed, in the other bag sealed, then in a Scentsy box labeled period 1, and all the students' boxes are in there, the bags are in there, labeled to go, and it's just clearly labeled on all 4 sides, so the teacher literally knows this is period 1. Sally, come get your bag. Jeff, come get your bag. I mean, it's very simple and no work for them. It literally is just handing the bag to the student. And so just keep that in mind and figure out what system works best for you, where it's no work on their part. And you can't overdo the details. Remember that. That's what's going to set you apart from everybody else.
Heather, what has been your biggest fundraiser so far in like a 1-month fundraiser?
Oh God, I don't even know. Maybe 10, 12, 15,000. I don't even know. I mean,
there's some shocked faces, and that means that's how many PRV points you get toward your incentive trip.
Yeah. And if you can get somebody, so if you're thinking, well, how do I get somebody to do it? You start with somebody you know. Like everybody can go post right now. I have 3 checks I need to give away for who needs fundraisers. I need 3 people, 3 checks I need to give away by December 31st. Who's trying to raise money? Go post that right now and see who bites, right? It's all going to start with people you know, right? My husband's classroom, it does one. Dawson High School does one here. At Choir does one every year with me. Whatever department is at the school, all those departments are trying to raise money. So think about all of your friends that are either in sports, choir, you name it, private soccer teams or baseball teams, traveling teams, cheer. You could right now look on Facebook at any of your friends that are trying to raise money and message them and say, hey, I see that you are doing a fundraiser. Have you ever thought about doing a Scentsy Scent Circle fundraiser? I'd love to be able to give you almost 50%. It's 10% off this month. Are you tax exempt? I mean, it could really just be that simple. And then the payout. So the nice thing of it, when you run it, you have to remember when commissions are run monthly. So I like to close it out towards the end of the month if I can. And then, so I'm turning around and giving their check to them on, you know, what, the 12th, we get paid the 9th or the 10th. I usually make sure it's in my account, and then I'll write them a personal check, and then they get their money very quickly. The turnaround is great because the first part they're already keeping in their checking account. They're depositing the money and I'm getting a credit card from them. So the first part is already in their bank account. I'm just paying them for the PRV side because the first part of the profit was immediate. When the customers overpaid and they made all that deposit, that money's in their account immediately. And so now I'm just paying them the commission part 2, technically. Can you explain the credit card again? So yes, I typically only take a credit card from the organization or a check. I'm not going to collect payments. I don't collect payments for people. They usually have their own treasurer to do so. And I don't want to be liable for any organization's money coming to my house and getting lost. That's the treasurer's job typically. You might have to on smaller organizations, but when we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, you need to deposit it into your checking account for your booster club or PTA. You cut me a check or give me the credit card to pay. Now, the credit card, if it's tax exempt, you have to get a permission letter from the treasurer. I give Heather Gorsuch to charge this amount in the card ending blank. Like, there is some protocol on these tax exempt organizations. So you will have to make sure that you have all those steps and bases covered. Have you ever had someone they overpaid for the item? Yes, you say, absolutely. That's the way that we can give more money back to the organization. It's going 100% of the overpayment is going straight back to the organization, plus all of my commission, 100% of my commission. Yeah, 100%. If you know what you're saying and somebody's asking these questions and I'm telling you, yes, 100% of the overpayment is going straight to the organization, and 100% of my commission is going to the organization, they're not going to say anything to you because it's true. That's a lot of profit.
Is there any questions? I'm not seeing any over on Facebook.
Okay.
Jill, I don't really have anything much. I don't know, Janie, anybody else has anything they want to add? I'll say, you know, if you want to start small, you can do individual. I've done individual links for each dancer. I had a dance studio that I did them for once. And I didn't do like all the things, but I basically just opened them each up their own party link on my website. And so they could check out on their girl's link. And it was kind of the same thing. If they didn't click the girl's link, the girl didn't get credit for it. Right. Yeah. And I could tell them, here's who your customers were that shopped. So that's another option as well. There's so many things that you can do with these. And I think, well, yes, Heather explained there, you know, there can be some rules and guidelines, especially when you're doing 501c3s and tax exempt and things like that. But in other aspects, try and just breathe and enjoy. And I would definitely challenge everybody to try and book at least one fundraiser this season, just to see how it goes. You don't know unless you try.
Yeah. And the people that are saying I'm overwhelmed and intimidated, it's a lot to take in and soak up. Yes. This is why we have this replay, so you can go back and listen again. I wouldn't recommend going straight to a PTA as your first fundraiser. Start small, find an individual, find a team of 5 people that are looking to raise funds. A fundraiser is no different than you selling out of a catalog and taking orders. And when the order is placed, you're giving them your commission. That's basically how a fundraiser is working. The only difference where it becomes a little complicated is if you're doing the Scent Circle or the Travel Twist fundraiser and you're charging more than the catalog price with tax included, you've got to make sure you're not keeping any of that overpayment and it's going straight to the organization. And then part 2, you're giving them your commission. Start small. Everybody's got to start somewhere. This can be really hard and confusing, but it's just, if you've made a sale to someone in the past, you can do a fundraiser. It is literally just taking orders. It's that simple. Go ahead, Jill.
I was going to say that too, is you have to start small because it's all about kind of like anything else, just getting your groove of how you want to do them. I think one of my, not a first one, but I didn't know what I was doing the first 10. We definitely didn't have the Scent Circle thing. And then I did my first one. I think I used a lot of Cali stuff, and it was a lot of just getting your groove, how you want to put your packets together. And then it's just duplicating the whole thing. I think I did a group of 12 cheerleaders just to kind of get used to everything, get the scent circles in, know how I was going to label everything. And there's tons. I think there's a fundraiser group on Facebook too, where you can go through. But even that, again, is don't get too overwhelmed with all of the ideas and all of the stuff in there, because then you just won't do it. Keep it as simple as you can, because if it's the first time doing it with the specific group, they don't know the difference anyway. So in the end, you know, some ribbon and making it look pretty is impressive to them and just easier on your brain, and it doesn't psych yourself out. So like Heather said, you start with 1, go to 5, go to 12, and you keep getting better and better and better. If you make it too complicated, you will dread them. I didn't do them for a while because I overcomplicated the first couple and I didn't do them. And it's shooting yourself in the foot, because like Heather said, you can gain so much PRV. You can get so many contacts. All of the people, I just did one with 43 graduating students, and I'm still talking to about 20 of the parents that have become customers. So, you know, don't overcomplicate it, start small, and it just takes practice to kind of get your groove and figure out how you want to go about things.
I'm glad you said that, because actually, so one of the fundraisers that I did every single year was my nephew, actually, before I lived here in the Meridian area, he lived here, and he would every year that he would do a choir fundraiser. And it wasn't even the whole choir fund or the whole choir class. It was just him. They had to earn certain money for their like trips and stuff. And today I actually just got a text from a customer that I dropped an order off to this week now as a local customer here in the Meridian Boise area, because of that fundraiser that I did for him. He's now 22. And I was doing that throughout his entire high school career. And so you just never know where those are going to lead. Like Jill said, you know, she still talks to those teachers' parents. And I think that's important to kind of transition, like the follow-up aspect of that. What can that look like, right? The first thing you always do is send every single person the thank you that purchased and say, thank you for ordering. Because of you and your purchases, we were able to donate back. And then you tell them how much you were able to donate back. And then you ask them in that same thing, if you know of any other organization that is in need of money, I would love to do a fundraiser for them as well, right? So that gives you another opportunity to ask for other fundraisers. They can see the success of the one that you just wrapped up, and it could possibly lead you to even more. The other thing is when you follow up with them, to make sure that you're, you know, giving them opportunities to fill out a customer profile, to join a VIP group, to follow you, those call to action things, to call them to action, to do more with you, and stay connected with your Scentsy business.
And then just keep in mind too, if it's more individual based, like a lot of times when we do them for the larger organizations, I tell the kids, if it's an online order, there's no way for me to know that your Aunt Karen in Kentucky bought from Billy Smith. So if your Aunt Karen bought, just write Aunt Karen Smith online order, so I know to attach the online order to this student, because there's no way with that many people buying. The students have to keep up with their own online orders if it's one link for the organization. Now, there are some times where you'll create a link for each kid. If it's a cheer team, you have that availability to make it custom for each child, and you'll pay out each child how much the percentage of how much they sell. But typically when it's a larger organization, I make it very, very clear. You better write your online orders on here if you want credit. There's no way for me to track them back to you. And I've never had a problem. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, it was just another random thought that I thought of. One of the ones that I used to do, she's graduated high school now, but from the time she was in 7th grade, she did an individual fundraiser for her cheerleader dues every year. Like just one individual girl, her mom would say, can we do a fundraiser for my daughter Alex? She wants to raise the dues that so like,
Which is
it was
basically
still a fundraiser, but it was one girl. And let me tell you, that one girl hustled like it was like a whole club. Sometimes she sold more than other clubs, like individually. She just did impressive. So don't count that option out either as an option to do something individually for someone. I think someone touched on that earlier. I can't talk, guys, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to touch on it again because it reminded me. She did that from the time she was 7th grade all the way until she graduated high school. I did a fundraiser for her every year for her to do her cheerleader dues. So
yeah, that's great. And that's a great person to offer the opportunity to. I mean, if she's selling that much, one person to get that money, ding, 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 right? You kind of keep her in mind, down the road. The timing's got to be right, but those scenarios absolutely happen. Yeah. Yeah, I encourage all of you to just try it. Just ask around, make that post on Facebook, check with your closest circle of people to ask them, hey, do you know anybody that's trying to raise money right now for a fundraiser? And I mean, all you have to do is ask, and you have a greater chance of getting one with somebody that you know, instead of soliciting to schools where people don't know you. You've got to earn your way in, and somebody has to know you first. Like, it really is hard to get your foot in the door of just a stranger place. Like, it's all more than likely going to start with somebody you know.
We do have a couple questions. So on Facebook, somebody asked, how do you approach a friend without coming off salesy? I have a friend whose son is in rehab after breaking C5, 6, 7, and July 3rd, wanted to offer to cover his medical expenses.
So I would immediately say, I feel so bad for your son. My heart is just breaking for you guys. The least I can do is offer my entire commission to help support your medical bills. I'd love to set up a link and just see if any sales come in, or if you want to share it and blast it, I'll give you my entire commission. I mean, there's nothing salesy about if you're not making any money off of it.
Absolutely. Do you include your business card in every individual bag too? Label every scent circle.
I just label the scent circles. Yeah.
Yeah. I would label every scent circle. And then I think there was one up here that said, what would you put in a sample pack, So a sample pack, we've done Thursday night shifts all about sample packs and host packs and all of those things. So I would definitely say to check those out, but everybody's samples pack might look a little bit different. You may be only be able to afford, rub and smell stickers and a showcase brochure or a product list. You might have, the flat dish soap samples or body samples from the consultant store. It's kind of just what's within your budget. And if you're delivering it, if you're mailing it, if you have to keep it to one stamp or it's a full package, but you can definitely, I would say, if you wanted to go minimum, we talked about that in April last year, really in depth, would be rub and smell sheets and a showcase brochure. And then, like I said, those dish and body samples that are super duper flat from the consultants.
Yeah, you can really make it whatever you want it to be, because the person receiving the sample pack has nothing to compare it to. They're not collecting sample packs from all these different consultants all over the US. So you can set whatever standard you want it to be. And if that means just a little something, make it a little something. Something is better than nothing. I'm going to tell you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can put product sheets in there when delivering. Absolutely. I have done product sheets in there, a coupon for a free warmer if they book a party. I've done a free candy in there. I have put, everything but the sun sometimes, trying to get people to return on my investment of those fundraisers, right? Because for many years I didn't get anything. So yeah, nothing. If you feel led to put a product sheet in there, absolutely put it in there. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. What have you got to lose to try, right? Nothing. You'll figure out what works for you and your clientele and what doesn't. It's not a one cookie cutter, one size fits all. You got to figure out, what works for you and your business and how they're receptive. And when you start figuring out stuff that works, like when I started being cheap and cutting the stickers halfway on the back, I found something that worked for me, and it worked. It's very janky looking, but hey, it's okay. It works. All right, we got 2 more minutes. Any last question?
I don't have anything over on Facebook.
All right.
And
I knew this was going to be so fast. It is so much information to throw in an hour. So much info. Fundraisers is a big topic.
For pulling it together and updating those things, getting those examples. Did you say yes, you were going to drop the PDFs so they can re-reference? Was that a thing you can do?
We are, where we're putting it.
We can probably just do the monthly movement files, monthlymovement.com/files. It'd be a great place that you could find that for now. And then we can drop that link. I'll drop that in the comments here over on Facebook as well, since the chat will end on Zoom.
I need to get better at fundraisers, Heather.
Oh,
you were
inspiring. I love them.
I think my highest is, like I said, 43 people, and I was like, oh my God. So I'm gonna try to up that this year.
Yeah. And you know what? Money is tight for everyone, right? So this is the perfect time to be offering this. People are looking, sports are not stopping just because our economy is changing, right? They still got to come up with the money somewhere. So,
and those teams got to pay for those buses and that gas somewhere.
That's the greatest thing about Scentsy, where you find the problem and you're the solution. The answer is always yes, always. Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys, thank you for joining us for another Thursday night shift. We hope this was helpful. And you can catch the replay over on the Monthly Movement. We'll get that uploaded for anybody else. If you have questions, drop those over in the Monthly Movement group and we'll take care of those. And we will, yes, love you guys as well. We'll see you guys here next week. And Heather, thank you again. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And you just gotta tell me, I don't know where to upload this. So just offline, show me what I'm doing. You know me, I'm terrible at all this.
I got you, boo. We got this.
Thanks.